What if a single plus button could transform into a living liquid interface? In this project, you'll see a stunning GUI menu that stretches, merges, and flows like real liquid before snapping perfectly back into the center. Every movement is powered by smooth cubic Bezier animations, SVG Gooey Filters, glowing neon effects, and carefully crafted micro-interactions that make the entire UI feel alive. Even the closing animation creates the illusion that every menu item is part of one fluid object, delivering a premium experience usually found in modern app interfaces. And the best part is that we're building this entire effect using only HTML, CSS, and a tiny bit of JavaScript. No frameworks and no animation libraries. So if you're ready to create an eye-catching UI that will make your portfolio stand out, let's dive in and build it from scratch. Let's start by creating a new project folder called Perfect Centered Liquid Menu. Inside this folder, we'll create 3 files: index.html for the structure, style.css for styling and animations, and script.js for handling the menu interactions. Once everything is ready, we'll begin building this premium GUI navigation menu completely from scratch. We'll begin by setting up the basic HTML structure for our project. This file will serve as the foundation of our liquid menu, connecting both the style sheet and the JavaScript file. Keeping the project organized from the very beginning makes it easier to build smooth animations and maintain clean, scalable code as we move forward. Next, we'll import the resources our interface needs. Google Fonts gives the menu a clean, modern typography, while Font Awesome provides scalable icons that perfectly complement the premium liquid design we're about to create. Now, let's create the main wrapper that will hold our entire liquid menu perfectly centered on the screen. Next, let's create the 3 floating menu items that will appear around the center button. Each button includes a unique Font Awesome icon for analytics, settings, and messages. Right now they're just simple HTML elements, but in the next steps we'll transform them into a smooth liquid interface with stunning GUI animations and premium micro-interactions. Now let's add the main trigger button at the center of our interface. This floating action button will control the entire liquid menu, expanding and collapsing the navigation with a single click while keeping the interaction clean, smooth, and intuitive. Next comes the magic behind the entire effect. Using an SVG Gooey Filter, we'll blur nearby elements, combine them with a color matrix, and blend everything back together. This creates the illusion that each button behaves like a single drop of liquid, smoothly merging and separating during every animation. Now let's move the CSS file. Let's begin styling by defining a clean design system with CSS custom properties. Here, we'll store our neon color palette, glow effects, button sizes, and custom animation timing in one place, making the entire interface easier to manage and customize. Next, we'll apply a global reset for consistent spacing across the page. Finally, we'll style the body by adding a deep dark background, centering everything with Flexbox, applying our modern font, and preparing the layout for a smooth, immersive liquid menu experience. To enhance the visual depth, let's add a soft ambient glow behind the menu using a pseudo element. By combining a radial gradient with a heavy blur and subtle opacity, we create a futuristic cyberpunk atmosphere that naturally draws attention to the center of the interface without distracting from the main interaction. Now we'll style the main wrapper that holds our entire menu. This container keeps every element perfectly centered while applying the SVG Gooey filter, allowing all the buttons to blend together into one smooth, liquid-like interface. Next, we'll define the shared styles for every interactive button in our menu. Each element is shaped into a perfect circle, centered with Flexbox, and positioned absolutely for precise placement. We also add smooth transitions for movement, colors, and glow effects, ensuring every interaction feels fluid while the animation remains perfectly synchronized when the menu opens and closes. Now let's style the icons and the main trigger button. First, we'll make sure every Font Awesome icon is perfectly centered and ready for smooth hover animations. Then we'll design the floating action button using a vibrant neon cyan color, a soft glowing shadow, and a larger size to establish it as the primary interactive element. Finally, we'll add a hover effect that brightens the button with a clean white glow, giving the interface a more responsive and premium feel whenever users interact with it. Next, we'll style the submenu buttons in their default closed state. Each button starts perfectly stacked at the center with a reduced scale, allowing them to merge seamlessly into the main trigger. We'll use a vibrant neon pink color, glowing shadows, and smooth hover effects to make every menu item feel responsive. This setup creates the perfect foundation for the fluid expansion and snapback animation we'll build in the next step. Now let's bring the menu to life. First, we'll style the active state of the main trigger button by rotating the plus icon and updating its colors. Next, each submenu item smoothly expands in a different direction using CSS transforms, creating a clean radial layout. A small transition delay makes the buttons open one after another for a more natural animation. And when the menu closes, all the items snap back to the center at the same time, creating a seamless liquid effect that gives this interface its premium, polished feel. To add the finishing touch, we'll create a subtle micro-interaction by slightly scaling each icon when the user hovers over a menu item. This small detail makes the interface feel more responsive and interactive. Finally, we'll hide the SVG filter container since it's only used behind the scenes to power the GUI liquid effect and doesn't need to be visible on the page. Now let's start the JS. Finally, let's add the JavaScript that controls the menu's behavior. First, we'll select the wrapper and the trigger button from the document. Next, we'll attach a click event to the trigger, allowing it to toggle the active class whenever it's pressed. This single class is responsible for switching between the open and closed animation states. To improve the user experience, we'll also listen for clicks anywhere on the page. If the user clicks outside the menu while it's open, we'll automatically remove the active class, causing the menu to close smoothly. This simple logic keeps the interaction clean, intuitive, and easy to maintain while making the interface feel much more polished. And here's the final result. A premium fluid snapback liquid menu built from scratch using only HTML, CSS, and a small amount of JavaScript. Watch how every button smoothly expands from the center, merges together with a realistic GUI effect, and snaps back into a single liquid form when the menu closes. The neon glow, SVG filter, staggered animations, and polished micro-interactions all work together to create a modern interface that feels smooth, responsive, and visually engaging. This is a great example of how a few well-crafted techniques can transform a simple navigation menu into something truly eye-catching. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what premium UI you'd like to build next.